Hello, welcome to our poster presentation in Multi-Department Anti-Racism Curricular Intervention in the University of Utah. I'm Ellie Moreno, and this poster is also presented with Dr. Tiffany Ho, Damian Borbolla, Michelle Miranda, Marisol Lawan, and Jennifer Wilson. So the recent events such as COVID-19 pandemic and the murder of George Floyd shed some light in the racism and disparities that we have, throughout the country, and academic medicine being part of this as well. So we, as in Damian, Michelle, and myself, collaborated with the Office for Health, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion in the university. And we started a new initiative called CARA, which is Consortium Against Racism in Academia. And as part of the fellowship that was supported by this office, we created a anti-racism training to teach throughout different groups within the university. So we are trying to define in this poster what we did with this work, with our objectives that at the end of the sessions that we implemented, the individuals that attended were going to be able to define racism and implicit bias, describe the examples of microaggressions, support individuals that had experienced microaggressions, and then propose anti-racism actions and policies in their workplace. Our overall goal was to create a shared mental model throughout the university so that we can communicate and make sure that we're all on the same page when we teach, when we witness, when we live these microaggressions, when we face with the decision whether we're having implicit bias here, or when we're trying to create new policies within the institution. So for our methods, we co-hosted with, like I said, the Office of Health, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, and took a workshop that was already being implemented and restructure it so that it can be applied to different departments and different levels of staff members. So whether it was medical students, residents, clinical staff. We used a pre and post workshop through Red Caps, and basically we presented different workshops and then gather all this information. So these are just some examples. The Department of Family and Preventive Medicine, faculty retreat in October, the Department of Emergency Medicine, and then family medicine leadership workshop for the residents. So for our demographics, I think it's very important to point out that just as we're represented in Utah, the vast majority of our attendees were white, but our gender distribution is between female and males. It's pretty even. There were a couple of individuals that did not enter these two categories, which actually it's very important that these were also represented, and we're very happy that they were able to express their identity through the survey. Now, as for the roles, we have that the vast majority were faculty, and this is just because the opportunities that we had to present the workshop. But our second most prominent group was residents. So our results show that between the pre and post survey, we did have a statistically significant improvement in the level of confidence defining implicit bias. Same thing with defining microaggressions. Now, we didn't see significant difference in the identification of when microaggressions happen and how confident they feel about responding to an incident of racism. And this is actually something that was somewhat expected since our workshop was more directed towards the first steps in this journey, which is just creating this common language and a shared mental model for the entire university. So we did start asking for the attendees to think about actionable items, and we got some responses here that were pretty interesting, such as hiring, funding scholarship opportunities, programming, policy changes, training and workshops, research and culture, and attitude shifts, which, you know, all of this came from people that are, you know, us. They're living in this community, in this academic world, and they see, just as you do, that there are plenty of opportunities for change. Now, we did have some limitations. This workshop was initially created to be an in-person workshop, and then we had to change it to a virtual mode, which actually brought us some limitations in the sense that there wasn't a one-on-one interaction. However, it also gave us some advantages. So for those people that maybe would have not communicated openly in an open forum, they had the chat box to express their ideas. The length of the workshop was also restricted. Initially, it was a 90-minute workshop, and we had to do it 60 minutes just because of the venues where we presented this. And then one of the departments restricted the application of the survey so that that group was not represented. Now, we learned quite a bit. You know, we do need a standardized anti-racism training throughout departments and divisions. However, this training was pretty well taken by faculty, residents, and staff, so this can still be applied in many other places within the university. So we still have work to do, we still have conversations to have, and we're happy to be part of this. So we're just hoping that we can continue this work in the future. And just recently we gave this workshop in a live forum to the medical students of the university that were just starting this year. So we're very happy about all these accomplishments. We'll be happy to take any questions if you have. And thank you so much for watching us.